Welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at a problem that plagues vintage laptops, especially laptops made prior to maybe like 2001 or so. And it all has to do with how the keys were mounted to the keyboard. So I'm going to pop a key off. We're going to be using black sticks. These are anti-marring plastic sticks, and they won't harm the adjacent keys. We're going to shove them in between the keys and rock them side to side like that until the key is liberated. There we go. So you'll notice that the key has a plunger on the end of it. Now that plunger is locked into the keyboard, called the keyboard base, and it interacts with a membrane type switch on the end. What happens is, as the plastic ages, it loses its natural lubrication. The oils in the plastic tend to seep out, they outgas, and when the key is depressed, it has a tendency to rock to the side ever so slightly, unless you hit every key dead on. See, even I hit this one dead on and it kind of got stuck. So let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so here we have the F key. If I press the F key straight on, it's nice and smooth. But when you're typing, you're not pressing each key dead on. You might hit them slightly to the side. See how that F key kind of tilts back and then locks a little bit and then it gives like that? It's not a very smooth action. When you're typing quickly, the key can simply get stuck and it floats, which is why I've dubbed this condition key float syndrome. I made it up just now. So there is a solution to this, and it's not that hard to do. See, the G key is doing it pretty bad right now. It's a real easy solution. I had to do a little bit of research to find out what lubrication would be safe on plastics, because some lubrications or some greases are oil based, and oil can actually ruin the plastic as it leaches into the plastic. It can soften it and it can cause major problems for you. It can make the condition even worse over time, even though it may work initially. So what I've decided to use is synthetic polyolefin lubricant. This is here we go. This is actually made by Dow Corning. It's strikingly expensive. This is I think about $15 or so for a little container this size. I thought about using less expensive silicone lubricants, but ultimately this stuff was intended, this was engineered to be used for most plastic to plastic contact. So this is what you would use, for example, if you're rebuilding an HP laser printer. This is actually the same stuff I use at work whenever I have to tear a printer down for major repair. And it is expensive. The only difference is this time I had to pay for it. So it's a very lightweight white grease. So what we're going to do is take a clean paintbrush. I mean, you can buy a pack of inexpensive paintbrushes at AC Moore, Walmart, wherever you happen to buy craft supplies. And just a short hair brush, nothing fancy. We're going to use our two black sticks, and we're going to remove. See, let's do the G key. That's the one that seemed to stick the most. It sticks pretty badly. So let's pull it out. Careful, these black sticks have really sharp tips. I just poked myself in the palm. Boy, did it hurt. So I'll pop the G key off. We're going to take a little bit of grease. You don't want to go overboard. A little bit of this stuff. And we're just going to paint it on the plunger. Like so. Not too much, not too little. We're going to put the key right back in place. Now this is a time-consuming task. It could take you a very long time to complete one. Now look at that. Look at how nice that key action is. Look at that. It ain't sticking no more. And just that little amount of lubrication should last the rest of the laptop's life. It just so happens that the reason I bought this this lubrication was solely to fix this laptop, because this is one of my prized laptops. These things are going for stupid money on eBay right now, and the older they get, the more valuable they get. And I want to desperately save this laptop for for the future. And I just sold, by the way, my PowerBook G3 Kanga. It went for $200 and plus shipping. So it's undeniable that some of these vintage machines are getting valuable. So this one has a pretty bad case of sticky keys. The T key, let's zoom in a little bit so you can see. The T key, you just hit it just on the rim here, and it doesn't go down. Yeah, I just noticed that this one had some junk on the other side. You know what I ought to do? It might make sense to pull all the keys off and wash them first. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a photograph of the keyboard in its current state. And then I'm going to pry off every key and wash them. Enough of that. Now let's clean the keyboard itself. How do you dry off 104 keys, or however many are here? You fold them in a towel, shake them around a little bit, take the water out of them, and you do it again. You get a nice dry towel, and you do it again. Like this. Almost like I've done this before, huh? Once the towels are clean, we just hang them over the oven door handle and let them dry and use them again. The board is pretty clean for the most part. I'm going to use some compressed air. We're going to blow the dust away. Alright. We're going to take a paper towel or something and kind of run up and down the board. This laptop lived a very, I can already tell, this thing lived a very, very stress-free life. This keyboard is hardly damaged or worn out in any way, and it just looks really good. Okay, we're going to start putting the keys back in. Okay, let's fire it up and see if there's any improvement. I already can tell you I'm not so confident that there is. Yeah, sometimes my brilliant ideas don't always pan out, and this might be one of those situations. The thing is, this is a very real problem with these laptops, and it happens on, well, most of the older plunger type keyboards are getting to the point where the keys cannot be hit askew at all. They stick. Here's an example. The R key, for example. If I hit it on the corner, it doesn't depress. Let me start it up, and I'm going to try to type something out on it and see how it comes out. I'm going to try to type a sentence. Oops, I hit the wrong key. Ah, this is a terrible keyboard with the caret. Yeah, I hit the key. The C key, I hit it, and it just... You know what? That he was in need of a new brain. Modern keyboards have... Well, modern laptop keyboards have much lighter tension. You know, they're not as heavy, and they ditched the plunger style mechanism for a more user-friendly scissor type. of key support, and that vastly improved the typability on keyboards and laptops. Now, this plunger style keyboard is really just a miniaturized version of the full-size desktop keyboards that used membrane type switches. The problems is the plungers are so short that they're more prone to cocking off to the side. Regardless of lubrication, regardless of age, because the plungers they're under square. What it means is the bore size, the bore diameter, if the bore diameter of the plunger is larger than the stroke or the depth of the plunger, it is considered under square. If it's square, that would mean that the plunger depth and the bore width are the same. Over square is when the plunger is deeper than the diameter. Okay, let's take off a key from a desktop keyboard from roughly the same time period. Yeah, perfect example. On a Mac keyboard, you'll notice that the plunger is deeper than the diameter of the plunger. So what happens is when you go to press the key down, there's a lot of sidewall to support the weight against the side of the key. It's enough to counteract the key's imbalance in pressure. So you got more pressure on one side than the other. Because the wall is so deep, the plunger is so deep, it can carry that load without causing it to cock off sideways. And that's why these keys work so well. This is on one of these, this keyboard right here. It's a typical desktop keyboard of today and even back then. But as you can see, the design of this key is pretty bad, and it makes it susceptible to the problem that we've outlined. So there's nothing I can do to really cure this laptop. We can only improve it, and that we've done. It's better than it was, but it's still nowhere near where it needs to be. But like I said, to make matters worse, as these keyboards get older and the plastic begins to dry up, this kind of stuff happens. And to make it even worse, once those plungers begin to wear out, it causes the key to rock even more, and it makes the problem even worse. Now, and given that these compact LTEs were often used in corporate environments, because of their high cost and because of their their customizability and ease of deployment, many of the used keyboards that you're going to find on the market today are going to be as worn or maybe more worn than this one was. So that's pretty much it. Not much else we can do about it. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.